Question 6, Part A. Find the value of 235 times 20 squared over or divided by 17. Give your answer correct to the nearest 10. So there are two parts to this question, given 2 marks. First of all, you need to work out what the answer is, and then round it correctly to the nearest 10. So this is using a calculator correctly. So I've got a Casio calculator here, and this allows you to use fractions very easily. So the button, third button down, that's your fraction button. It'll come up like this on your screen, and your cursor is in the top section. So that will allow you to write the top line of your fraction here. So it's always nice to put the, if you've got more than one number, so you've got a calculation on the top, to put brackets in. That tells the calculator to do the answer to all of this divided by 17. So I type in bracket 235 times 20. The squared button is here, x with a little 2. And again, you'll see that on your calculator. Don't forget to close the bracket. So now to go down to the bottom of your fraction, you can then just type in 17. So that will give you, if you press equals, it comes up as a fraction here. The SD button allows you to change it from a fraction to a decimal. And again, you can keep pressing it until it goes back. So here, it gives me the answer of 5,529.411765. So that there would get me 1 mark so far, because I haven't yet rounded it to the nearest 10. Well, that means I've got to find where my tens are. Well, these are my units, tens, hundreds, and thousands. So here's my tens. I put a line after that. And if the number next to it, after the line, is 5 or above, then that means this number would round up. So it is. So that 2 changes to a 3. So 5, 5, 3. Now, any numbers before the decimal point, we need to remember to fill in with zeros to maintain the size of the number. So that's saying that 5,530 is closer to 5,529 is closer to 5,530 rather than 5,520. So that there will give me the second mark because I've rounded it correctly. And the other thing you can do on the calculator is, instead of doing it as a fraction, you could do it just by typing the divide button. So we've got 235 in bracket, open bracket, 235 times 20 in the squared button, close bracket, and then divided by 17. And that should give you the same answer, pressing the SD button again, the same answer as you came up with. So you could do it as a fraction, or you could just press divide, but don't forget the brackets. So if you have a score calculator, the logic calculators, then this button looks a little bit different. So you do it in exactly the same way. You could do that on the score calculator, bracket 235 times 20 squared, bracket divided by 17, or you could use the fraction button. Now, the fraction button is in the same place on the logic calculator, but it looks like this, AB/C. And on your display screen, it won't come up like this one as fraction form. It will have, so you've written in 235 times 20 squared as the top part of your fraction, and then you would click the fraction button, and on your screen it'll come up with a symbol that looks like that. So that shows you that you've written the top part of your fraction now, and then you can start writing the bottom, which is just 17. So bracket 235 times 20, close bracket, press the fraction button, which is AB/C, and it'll look like this on your screen, 17, and then equals, and then you'll come up with the same answer. Part B, find the square root of 56 minus 37, add on 28, write your answer correct to 2 decimal places. So again, a 2-mark question, 2 parts to this question. So here, if you notice the square root is only above 56 take away 37. So at that point we need to do an equals. The square root sign looks like this. It's the same on the school calculators. This here will, on the Casio calculator, will look exactly like it is on the question. So 56 take away 37. It will look the same so that the square root is completely under that. On the school calculator, on the logic calculators, you'll just have the square root sign at the start and then it'll continue the questions. So at this point, it's a good idea to press equals there. And again, that's come up. So just click your decimal button here. So once we've got what that equals to, we can then add on 28 equals. And again, it's come up not as a decimal. So we click the decimal button and it comes up here. So your answer there is going to be 32.35889. In these types of questions, it's a good idea to write the full number out you have on the calculator so that you can get that 1 mark if you make a mistake at this stage. 894. So this is saying to 2 decimal places. So that means you need 2 numbers after the decimal place in your answer. So you put a line after those 2 numbers and then you round normally. So this number is above 5. So that means the number in front of the line rounds up. So it'll be 32.3. That 5 will need to go up to a 6. And that there will be further 2 marks. So you'll get 1 mark here, 1 mark there, and 1 mark for rounding it correctly. For part A, the examiners will accept 5520. So they've accepted that you've rounded it, but you've actually made a little mistake while rounding it. So if you have this as your final answer, then that will only gain you 1 mark. In part B, the examiners will do the same. If your final answer is, they'll give you 1 mark for this, even if you had that wrong. Or if you haven't got that, they'll give you 1 mark for 32.4. So that means you have rounded it, but you've rounded it to 1 decimal place instead, which is incorrect, but they'll give you 1 mark for that.